Hi, everyone. Welcome. This is Small Business Sunday podcast. Here we have Tania and Zach with SkyRise Theater. Would you want to take it away from here, Tania and Zach, and give a little bit about what SkyRise Theater is and how it came to be?
Sure. We started SkyRise Theater in 2010. It was basically an idea that Zach and I were husband and wife. We were dating at the time, and we had talked about this idea that we wanted to come up with a youth children's theater in the New England area. We are actually touring with Missoula Children's Theater out in Montana, which is a national children's theater that tours all over the country. And we were both on tours at that time. And so we decided, hey, you know what? We're going to move back out to the East Coast and bring youth theater there because it wasn't really something that was thriving over in this area at the time. So now we're here at 2020. It's been 10 years. And we do all different aspects of the performing arts, not just performing, but we do birthday parties and classes, lessons. We have lots of characters that we do character greetings, like as in princesses and superheroes. And
the biggest thing is, when we were on tour, we got that joy of giving back, that joy of giving, inspiration to kids so that they can have a voice and not be shy. And we wanted to continue that. And so bringing it back to New England we felt very fortunate that it's worked out. And it was really hard in the theater business just to keep the doors open. But we're here 10 years later. We actually, when the pandemic hit, we were about to do our 10-year anniversary show, which was Peter Pan. And it was supposed to be taking place this month. But it's on hold, and we have actually rescheduled. We're going to get that going again.
That's cool. Yeah, so 10 years is quite a feat. They usually say, I think 5 years is when businesses and small businesses go out of business. So what do you think has been some of the keys to success for that longevity of 10 years?
Well, definitely patience, trial and error. There's been a lot of things that, worked, that we weren't expecting was going to work, or there are things that didn't, some of our ideas that didn't quite work as well. But we keep going. We're creative, so we have a creative team, and Zach and I are creative. So we're constantly coming up with new ideas of how we can be different. Like our motto is being unique. That means our company being unique, the kids being unique, accepting everybody for who they are. And that has really worked for us.
The biggest thing as far as the business aspect of it, with theater, a lot of people take a long time to develop a show over time, but we're in New England. Everything's go, go, go. It's nonstop. There are other activities going on. Kids nowadays, their parents are scheduling them one after another doing things. So we had to come up with plans on how we were going to navigate that. And over the years, we've come up with our methods that allow us to teach shows in a short amount of time.
Very quick amount of time. And they're still high quality professional productions, even though we do the shows in such a short amount of time. We actually produce over 32 shows a year, which is a lot for a theater company. So, and that's just because we're always going. Sometimes we're rehearsing 2 or 3 shows at a time.
So how do you come up with the shows? What is like the lead time to create it? Or is there a lot of is there like a script you have to go through? How does that work?
So we go through a couple different companies like MTI Music Theater International, Beat by Beat Press, which is another children's theater writing platform. And then we also write our own shows. So we've written over 18 musicals ourselves. And so we have put those shows out, and those actually are what started us. We wrote our own show to start 10 years ago. We literally had no money when we started this company, and took a huge risk.
A lot of people do,
took a huge risk. And we're like, okay, how can we do a children's theater when we have no money and we can't buy the rights because they're expensive? So we started writing our own shows and just started doing it that way. And people, it's all word of mouth. We have a good Facebook page and we have a website, but our business has been a lot of word of mouth and positivity. And that's how we get our business.
Yeah. So other than ticket sales, which I imagine is a big part of the business, what other kind of avenues that you're gaining money from? Is there other aspects? Like, are you sometimes selling your scripts and shows? Is that an aspect of it? How do you make money?
So we've talked about that, but that takes it away from the personal side of it.
Yeah.
And I think that's where our focus is. We really enjoy working one-on-one with the students so that they are getting something out of this. From a business standpoint, yes, selling the scripts, would be ideal, but
it's something we're thinking about down the line, but definitely not out of the question.
When it comes to, like Tania said earlier, is that we do birthday parties where we have characters. We have very unique birthday parties, so that where we're actually teaching scenes and songs to students during birthday parties, and they're performing during birthday parties. And we have kids that are just obsessed with singing and dancing, especially nowadays.
Like we have unique adventure parties. We do lessons. We do classes. We get hired out a lot. So we are technically a traveling theater company too. That's how we started. So we do have a studio in Westborough, but we also travel all over. So if somebody wanted us in Boston, we would travel to you and we would bring a theater program to them. So we can do
like the space for the theater, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we have our own shop to build the sets. We have our own studio that stores all the costumes. And so we can really go anywhere. And that's how we also got kind of our foot in the door, is that we were able to get into some of the schools in the Metro West area.
Wow. So let's say you're doing a traveling production, right? And you go to Boston and you rent out a venue. Does the venue help you promote the show? How does that work?
In most cases, whenever we're around the area, if we get hired out by a venue, or we are in partnership with a venue, a school,
like a school,
usually it's, they're going to help promote it as much as they can. They're usually sending out flyers, sending out leaflets and stuff. So we get marketing on both sides.
That's good. And so how do you determine the economic viability of putting on a production? Do you ever go through that, or do you just kind of say, oh, this is a really good production, we want to do it, we're passionate about it, and the business kind of comes second? Like, what is that?
Well, no. Yeah, we always have to we put together a budget. So we always have to talk as a team and say, okay, how much is it going to cost to put on a production, say like Peter Pan? Obviously, Peter Pan is a big scale production, so it does cost a lot more. So we put that into consideration. We say how much our costume's going to cost. And then that affects how we are going to charge for tickets, registration, all the things that we do charge go into the production and pay for our staff. That, that's the other thing is that our staff are multi-talented. They don't just teach music or just teach acting. They do singing, dancing, and acting. They're professional in all of those aspects of the performing arts. So they can teach any of the shows, which makes it unique too.
Yeah. And how has COVID or coronavirus, whatever you want to call it, right? How has that affected this? So I understand that as a theater company and putting on productions, it might be a little bit tough, but have you found a way to still earn money, or, how has that process been?
So that's a really tough one for all of us right now.
Yeah.
I think we're all still adapting, but I'm curious to know how you adapted so far. Yeah.
So we have come up with ideas that we didn't even think were a possibility.
Ideas that could continue actually after this is done too.
Yeah. So the biggest thing is, as soon as doors closed, I think we were, as all of us, we were in that shock mode. Okay?
Yeah.
Oh, no, this could ruin us. This could be the end. But if you're a real business person, if you're an entrepreneur, you're always thinking on your feet. You're like, no, this isn't the end. Where's the next step? And so immediately we saw like the presence of people just immediately jump online. Everybody was online.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, we got to get some content up there. So immediately we were like, okay, let's give back to the community. Our kids are going to be losing their minds. So we started out with doing these segments with like princesses and superheroes. We were live streaming to Facebook. Free content. We wanted to just make sure
people didn't forget about us, and that we could give back to the area.
Yeah.
When we actually, yeah, and that actually kind of went in a totally different direction than we expected, because we thought it was just gonna, you know, we would get a few local people, but it ended up being national. So like we had people from all over the country watching. So our Facebook page exploded with followers. So then we just kind of, you know, we have an amazing team behind us. We have an event director that's been helping, that comes up with ideas with us as well. And we decided to start doing virtual character greetings that can be sent anywhere in the world, basically for birthdays, encouragement, thank yous. We've sent them to doctors, we've sent them to kids, parents, and their characters, superheroes or princesses, and they send like a little, kind of like a cameo of like a thank you. And those have been doing really well. We have characters going out to people's homes, socially distant, safe, of course.
Yeah.
And they're just dancing in their driveway or singing in their driveway while the kids stand at their front door.
That's cool.
And just it's a way for us to keep the kids smiling and also keep people remembering SkyRise, because during this time it can be, you know, mind-boggling. And so we want to make sure that when this is all done, that people will be like, oh, remember SkyRise did this. Like, we just want to keep keeping that name in the forefront of their mind.
So our seamstress jumped in on it, and she started making masks as well. So we're now selling masks.
Nice.
So we've got it all going on. But
you know, it's funny, the masks, like I've seen those everywhere now. And I remember I even, so if you go on Printful, right, which is kind of like a drop shipping clothing site, you can just drop ship your logo on them. And then once people figure that out, you could do it everywhere. But then I was always under the impression that you needed to make it N95, but I guess that went out the window too. So no one really knows what's going on, it seems. But that's really cool that you're making masks. Awesome.
Yeah, so that's been going on for a week, and we've sold like over 200 masks already in a week. Yeah, so that's been really great. And then as far as like continuing with the classes, it's like you were asking, how do we do like youth theater during this time? And, you know, we found that doing the classes online is very difficult, because with the Zoom, there's a delay in time. So if I'm playing music and they're singing, there's a delay. So that's been a little difficult, but, you know, one-on-one work. So I've been doing private lessons. Some of our teachers do private lessons one-on-one through Zoom. But we do something that we are doing is we're continuing our Peter Pan rehearsal with over 35 kids. So
awesome.
We do twice a week. We meet on Zoom, or they are sending rehearsal videos and we comment to them and give feedback. And then, so that's been continuing, and there's been challenges, but we make it fun for the kids and something to look forward to, because they've been working so hard since the beginning of March. And then like we only had 2 rehearsals together and this whole thing happened. But
the hardest thing with working online is that you know, we're working with kids. Kids are meant to go running around. You know, they wanna be around their friends. They want to go out. They don't like to sit. And we're finding it really challenging, especially for us as well, just to stay motivated to get in front of a camera or a screen.
I know.
A lot of parents are just like, you know, they're already doing schoolwork, and by the time, you know, at the end of the day, they're just like, I have to be in front of a screen again. You know, even though in the past everybody's like, oh, don't put your kid on an iPad or an iPhone. Now it's the opposite. And kids don't want to be on them. So there are challenges all around, but you know, for now
we've gotten some positive feedback saying that doing the rehearsals online has been such a positive outlet for their kids, because it's not homework, it's something that's creative. So it is, that makes us feel good.
Yeah, you know, I think that's a good point, is that you're at home, or we're all at home, whereas you'd be going to the theater, you know, wherever, right, putting on production. Now we just have to sit at home. It's kind of hard to, from what I've seen, from my own personal thing, is to separate business kind of from the other, right? As the separation of entities and movement is tough. So with 2 kids, I can imagine that might be tough for you, but has it been enjoyable? Has it been nice seeing your kids all the time? Is that usual? Like, how is that?
Oh, we love it.
I love it.
Well, our littlest one is going to kindergarten full time next year. So this is a good opportunity to like we won't have her, you know, in the mornings anymore. So it's a good opportunity. And then our 9-year-old, it's just fun to have her here and have the girls playing together and learning together. And she's helping the youngest one with some of her work. And it's just you know, obviously, you know, I can't paint the picture all rainbows and butterflies, but it's, you know what I mean? There are times that you want to pull your hair out. But.
Yes. Yeah.
Our youngest, who's in preschool, she is now, before COVID, she couldn't read. Now, 2 months later, you know, she's actually reading books.
That's awesome.
We didn't always have the time for that. We didn't make the time, and now this shows us that
we do have that time, and it's really cool to see her grow. Yeah,
the positive we're taking out of this is that before COVID, our life was so chaotic. Go, 24 hours a day. And it was just a lot. And this was like a wake up call for us to like, oh, wow, okay, we really can't do anything. We can't go anywhere. So we're like, wow, this is what we were kind of missing a little bit. And I think that put that in perspective to us. And I think we've really enjoyed our time.
It's awesome. Yeah. I've always wondered what it would be. You know, I imagine running a theater company or either bringing along your kids, or I don't know how that would work. So I was curious to know how that was going. So what do you two most love about, you know, owning and operating a theater company? Like what's the best thing about SkyRise Theater that you love, and what's the worst thing about it that you don't really love on a day-to-day basis?
The coolest thing is that I design and build most of the sets. And paint and come up with the artwork. I get to go to work every day and do something different every single day. Every single show that we're working on is a new challenge. Even if we've done the show, it's like, okay, what can we do different? What's the next step? It's not the same old every single day. And so it's not only am I building that for us, you know, that imagination, it's cool to talk with the kids and see where their heads are going, what they think about the show. Where could we take this? What could we do? How can we change things up?
It's that brainstorming, you know, artistic side of the brain.
Yeah, he definitely has the artistic side. I'm more of like running the business side, and I just love being in front of the kids and knowing the families. That's like my favorite part of it. We have become very close with families over the years. Some of our students have been with us for 10 years since the beginning of this, and they're still with us. And that we feel like family. And so
we have students that have come back to work with us.
After college, they come back and work with us. So that's just that's the most exciting thing, is just being able to build those friendships and those relationships with the families.
Yeah. And that's how you get word of mouth. That's how you build that community, which is awesome.
Yeah.
When you have people coming back after 10 years, I would say you're doing something, you know, right. For sure.
Yeah, thanks.
So what motivates you to, on a daily basis, to kind of get up and get after
it? Well, I get up pretty early, and I'm like already talking work first thing in the morning.
As any entrepreneur would do.
Every day, all day. You know, it came to a point where Zach and I had to be like, at 7 o'clock, we're not talking work. at night, I mean.
Business owners, you're on 24/7.
You are.
Especially when you're married too, and you own the company together. You have to really separate the two, and we've learned that over the years. For the first 3 or 4 years, we didn't. And we saw some struggle, you know, we struggled through that, and we've learned over time to really separate the two. But yeah, it's just
what motivates is that you know, it's cool you want to be prepared for the kids because the kids are going to throw it right back at you. If you're not prepared, they're going to call you on.
Oh yeah,
they're unapologetic. Yeah,
exactly.
They're going to tell you, you know, what are we doing? And you're sitting there like, I don't know. They're like, why are we here? Kind of thing. And we don't want that to happen. So we make sure that we're prepared. That's what motivates us, is to be ready for them.
And we're always thinking, like, we plan our schedule a year in advance. So we already have our schedule for 2021 already.
Wow.
So we have to, because, you know, other theater companies around here, they're putting their stuff out as well. And so it's just, you know, we have to keep up too with what's going on around us as a business. And so we're always just thinking ahead. Like when we started the company, we were thinking 5 years in advance. At 5-year anniversary, we're thinking, okay, what are we going to do in 10 years? And then now we're thinking about what are we going to do in 5 years? And we already have a plan in place for what we hope to for 5 years from now. So
that's awesome. Yeah. So you have the 10-year anniversary coming up, right? That show. What other good shows you would like to see happen or are happening, and any like big ones that you're really excited for?
So Finding Nemo is gonna be coming up, and we're hoping to do that one soon. I am a huge fan of puppets and anything with puppetry. So I love that, and I love DreamWorks, and it's one of my favorite movies. So that's a big one for me. What about you?
Matilda's coming out. That's another.
Oh no, that's already out.
It's already out, and we're excited to jump into that as well. It's a lot, you know, for us as, you know, artists. It always goes back to your childhood. What did you see as a kid? You know, it's kind of like, and then you start getting excited, and you're like, oh, how can I share my excitement with our cast? You know, with the community.
We also ask our kids too. We do surveys like, what do you want to see in the future? And a lot of them say Hamilton, but we can't. Unfortunately, we can't do Hamilton. That's very, still very popular on Broadway, and there are no rights available. But
can you
want to do
Macbeth or something like that? What is that?
Well, we could, but we actually don't do a lot of we've never done a Shakespeare, but we do one drama a year. We're mostly musical theater.
Yes,
So, well, we work inside the school system, multiple school systems. They bring me in to help with the tech side, building out and designing sets. They bring SkyRise in, and so I've worked on Shakespeare stuff, and I've worked on many different types of shows. It's just, there's so many shows out there, and we're constantly just changing it up, doing many different shows.
Like we were trained in that kind of stuff in school, like when we went to college and everything. But Shakespeare with the younger kids, because we're a youth theater, and really our age, it's just not as popular. Like we really have a lot of teenagers that they'd rather do Descendants or something,
Macbeth or
Les Mis.
Yeah. I get that. I did not even want to read Macbeth in high school. So. You know what's funny is now I'm thinking back, in elementary school we did have a puppet show, and for some reason I loved that when I was a kid.
Oh yeah.
I think it might have been like 3rd or 4th grade, and I was like all about it. So that's interesting. I always thought, you know, looking back now, I'm always like, that's kind of an odd thing to put on as a puppet show. You know, it's like an interesting thing.
Yeah.
But it's oddly entertaining. So. That's really cool.
We just wrote the last show that we just wrote, Grow Beam Grow, incorporates 5 puppets already. So we've written a show with puppets. So now I'm just ready for like Finding Nemo to be available, because I just love it.
So you have to design.
I was going to say, the cool thing with puppets is that you're also you got to look at the kids today. A lot of them are on YouTube, Instagram, and they're playing with dolls on their cameras, and you know. That's what a lot of kids are seeing whenever they're got nothing to do and they're sitting on YouTube or something like that. It's puppets. Yeah. Kids love being able to animate objects, like that. I think it's going to continue to be a big thing for a while, especially with the YouTube. I think there are definitely going to be more shows coming out with a lot more puppets.
Yeah. So you were asking about how do we make the puppets?
Yeah.
So we buy the puppets, and then we make our own outfits for the puppets.
Okay.
To make them different.
That would be very difficult.
We have made other things before, like we make complicated props or puppets before, but the one for Grow Bean Grow, we had purchased the puppets itself.
I made a giant chicken once.
Wow.
It was a full body suit with like mechanical stuff in there. It was a giant.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and we have a seamstress. She's my mom, and we love her. She has been sewing and doing all the costumes for every show that we have ever done in the past 10 years. And she works really, really hard to make our shows just look even more beautiful on stage.
Nice. So That is really cool. That's actually amazing. But if there's one piece of advice you could give to someone who either want to start their own theater company or just a small business in general, what do you think you would say to them after 10 years? You're almost seasoned vets now, I would say, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, number one is to come up with a solid plan and really go for it. Don't be afraid. When we started this company with literally $100.
That's insane. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
$100, and we were like, how can we do this?
I built some set walls for like $50. Then we took some paint and we painted.
And we were painting in our driveway for 3 to 4 years before we even got a location. So we had we were running our theater out of our house.
Wow.
So anything's possible. You just got to keep working at it and keep trying and stay creative and come up with different ideas and throw them to your family or friends and see what their thoughts are. Because they'll help you through it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the biggest thing is, not everybody's going to be able to find investors. Once you're getting into that side of the business, and especially if you're opening a theater company, a lot of people look at a theater company and like, is that financially viable?
Yeah, yeah.
They're like, really? That was the reaction of, that was the reaction of our parents. Like, really?
Yeah.
How are you going to do this? And 10 years later, they're like, oh, we were so wrong. But you've got to have a solid business plan. It's what you're going to learn in business class. Solid business plan. Make sure you have the support behind you. Make sure that you have a good partner to work with.
Yeah.
And
better than your wife.
Exactly.
Hey.
Yeah.
It's what you learn in business class. I hate
and
to
it's gonna be tough too. When we started, I had another job. He had another job, along with just coming off a national tour, and we were selling books on Amazon to make money.
Yeah, we were doing the third-party seller for a while, just selling used books.
Wow, and it works though.
It did.
Yeah. And now this is all we do. This is our full-time job.
That's awesome.
All we do. Yeah.
Wow. And are you happy?
Very, very happy.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, where can people find you and how can they interact with you? Any things you'd want to say to the audience?
Yeah. So we have a website, SkyRiseTheater.com. You can see our events there, what shows we have coming up, our summer camp schedule, our classes, our birthday parties, all that fun stuff, tons of pictures. We have a Facebook page, SkyRise Theater. We also have an Instagram page, SkyRise Theater as well. And
the biggest thing is, yes, we have kids that are performing in our shows, but we encourage the community to come out. We have kids that their parents started bringing them at like 1, 2, 3 years old. Even though they're not.
To come see the shows, not be in the shows.
But they're not going to necessarily always get it, but it's the lights, it's the sound, and now those students are in our programs.
Because once they become 4.5, they can start joining our programs like as actors, and they go until they're 18. They like graduate high school, and then sometimes they come back during the summers and still work for us over the summer. So we're always looking for employees to work over the summer that have experience in the performing arts, and work obviously well with children. That's a plus.
That is a big one. Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah. So if someone wanted to order, like a virtual, like a Zoom call or something like this to someone, like you do characters now, you can record a message, right? If someone wanted to do that for someone else, maybe for Mother's Day or something, is that something they can order?
Yeah, so you go to our SkyRise Facebook page. That's where all the information is. And we have been posting tons of our top posts are about the virtual greetings, the Zoom. We have virtual greetings and we have live Zoom calls with the characters. And so you can order those right there through our Facebook page. But then also if you go to our website under birthday parties, there is a link there to sign up as well.
Nice. That is probably one of the best pivots I think I've heard in a long time. That is really genius. I give you credit for that. Good move.
Well, we have to, so this is a family business too. So it started with Zach and I, And then my mom makes the costumes, and now my sister works for us as the event director. And she came up with that idea with
That's awesome.
the character stuff. Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, SkyRise Theater on Facebook, Instagram, all of that. That's where they can check you out. And Tania and Zach, it's been good chatting with you, and it's been good to learn about the theater company. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Thank you.